Hi everybody, today we are doing a first impression of a palette that I have been waiting for. It is the Jeffree Star Cosmetics Cremated palette. Now there's been a lot going on with the Black Lives Matter movement, so I want to kind of do a disclaimer here to spread some awareness as well as kind of share where I am standing as far as supporting certain brands and companies. So first things first, one of the amazing things that has come out, so many amazing things have come out of this Black Lives Matter movement and all the protesting, but one of the things that has really popped up on social media is more awareness of beauty brands, food brands, just all around any kind of company that claims that they are diverse when they might not actually be diverse. And so one of the really cool things that's happening is it was originally called a challenge, but I really would like to call it a movement because I think that it's really, really important, and it is the pull up or shut up movement or challenge, whatever you want to call it. But basically, it is asking beauty brands, companies, and it's starting to spread outside of that to like fashion and food and everything, but asking them to share their percentage of Black representation within their companies, which means employees, marketing team members, leadership roles, all of it. Because it turns out, obviously, that this is something that the general public hasn't really had to look into to be aware of. So what I mean by that is, for the past 10 years, I have thought that I was a pretty good ally to not only Black lives, but just people of color generally. I've always tried to be anti-racist, and I've always tried to be aware and be socially aware and, spread awareness as far as social justice, civil rights, all of it. I've really tried to be an advocate for stopping racism, sexism, homophobia, ableism, ageism, all of it. And more, even more than that, it's just there's so many marginalized groups and oppressed groups within this system that we've created in America and just the world, really. With that being said, as a white woman, I have never had to question where I'm putting my money, where I am contributing financially. I've never had to do that. I've never had to stop and wonder, hey, I'm buying this Revlon foundation or this Fenty lipstick, I've never had to stop and ask myself, is this company practicing what they preach? Are these companies being held accountable with this diverse and all-inclusive message that they're putting out to sell product? Are they actually upholding that message? Hi, Luna, how are you? Hi. And so, I've been giving money to companies, not realizing that they can say whatever they want, and not follow it up. So, for example, I did not know that L'Oreal has such a large monopoly on the beauty industry. They own like 40 companies within the name of L'Oreal. That includes Urban Decay. That includes, I believe it includes Maybelline. There's a long list. I can't remember them all right now. But I've made a pledge that I am no longer going to support certain brands that are not practicing inclusivity or giving jobs to oppressed populations within this country and in the world. With that being said, there are so many businesses, corporations that I've been spending money that I've been purchasing from, giving money to, who then take that money and donate directly to Trump or to organizations that I do not morally stand with. And for my entire life, I've never been in a position where I've had to stop and ask myself, are these companies that I'm giving money to really doing what they are promoting that they are doing? I've never had to stop and say, I'm going to get a Big Mac from McDonald's, and is that money going to be donated to an organization or a person or a political party that I do not align myself with. I've never thought that far. I've always just thought that as long as I am spreading awareness and knowledge and educating myself and trying to spread education towards the people in my life, and, you know, I am respectful and I am trying to create a safer environment around me for others to be a part of. I've never been put in a position where I've had to really look outside the box and realize that there's more that I should be doing than just worrying about my own personal actions. There is a whole long list of businesses that donate to Trump or donate to anti-trans organizations, or they are against the Black Lives Matter movement. I mean, what it comes down to is that this is really difficult to maneuver through and to really educate yourself, because there are so many brands who are coming out and saying, we are all inclusive, we promote diversity, and then only 4% of their team is Black. What? That doesn't make sense. So for those of you who don't know, the Pull Up or Shut Up Challenge is basically where the idea is that 10% of the Black population, I'm assuming in America, holds a college degree. Okay, so that college degree means that they hold the credentials to be employed within these companies. So the idea is that in order for there to be a accurately diverse team in a company, 10% of those employees have to be Black. And so if you are not helping those communities by offering jobs for people within those communities, but then you're going online and promoting, you know, that you're all diverse and you're, you know, or you're a company that's mostly white, but you're marketing, Fenty, but you're marketing to the Black population, just doesn't line up, you know? There's just a lot of facade going on. And so personally, I've decided that I am not going to support brands that have less than 10% representation for Black people specifically, but also don't have a good arrangement of other races within their company. I feel like, you know, it's just, there's no excuse. There's just none. And quite frankly, moving forward with this channel, I'm going to be supporting way more indie brands, way more Black owned brands, minority owned brands, people of color owned, like just I'm trying to be as diverse as possible. And I'm no longer going to be promoting the use of brands like MAC, like Too Faced, like Tarte, like Revlon, Maybelline, L'Oreal, Urban Decay. I'm done. Until these companies move forward, you know, we'll reevaluate in 6 months if they are holding true to what they are telling us right now, which is that they have a plan and that they're going to move forward with that plan. Until I see that until I see that is fulfilled, or at least in progress, I'm not gonna support them. That being said, I still own makeup that I paid money for by those brands, and so I'm still going to be using this makeup that I've already paid for, because I don't really have the money to be able to just, you know, rebuild my entire makeup collection. However, with that being said, I am not going to mention those brands and bring them to you. I just don't feel good doing that, and I really want to spread awareness of where you're putting your money. I can share a list in the description, like a link that will take you to a list of companies all over, from food, beauty, transportation, like lifestyle, all of it, to help you become more aware of where you're putting your money. You don't have to take it to an extreme like me, but my morals, me ethically, I just can't move forward knowing that these brands are just directly against what I believe in. And it's time I put my money where my mouth is. And that's just how I feel personally. So you will see that reflected here. I will also put the Instagram page for the Pull Up or Shut Up if you yourself would like to go through and see what companies have responded and where the numbers lie. Now, with that being said, the reason I'm bringing this forward as a disclaimer is because I'm disappointed because Jeffree Star, who is well known for being racist and for not supporting the Black community in the past, he has made claims that he has changed and that he, you know, has learned and educated himself. He has not yet come forward for this challenge. And I've seen many people come and ask him, comment on his posts, both his business Instagram and his personal Instagram through Twitter. I have seen so many people, me myself, I have commented and DM'd both Instagrams and said, listen, it would mean so much if you participated in this movement and share what your numbers are, because the transparency is what is important. And he's not yet done that. So because he's not done that yet, I was on the fence about making this video. As of right now, he's not come forward. I'm going to make this video. I'm going to share this palette because I was waiting for this before I became more aware, and I spent like $60 on this. And so I really, really do want to try this palette. But moving forward after this video, I'm only going to highlight brands that I believe are worth spending money towards and worth, you know, they're actually doing something positive for the industry and for the world, really, because it's one thing to say that you're diverse or things like that, and then it's another to actually do it. That was a disclaimer, wordy, but I find it important that this awareness is spread. I really do. Something that really is important to me. So without further ado, let's get into the palette, and we're going to leave all that stuff for the sake of this video, but we will return to that topic probably in another video pretty soon. Okay. This is the Cremated palette. It is beautiful. I mean, this is a beautiful neutral palette. I know a lot of people are excited because you can get a lot of bridal looks. Like, this is a very good palette for if you're an actual makeup artist and you're putting makeup on people. I'm really excited to see what the formula is like and how it works. I ordered the Conspiracy palette as well, and that did not work out for me. I have to return it. I think I got a bad batch, or I don't know, maybe the formula was just whack. I don't know, because it was really bad. I mean, it was patchy, it wouldn't stay on my skin. Even my mom tried it, and we both were like, this is a mess. It's chalky, really bad. So I'm going to be returning that one, so I am really hoping that this one is good. So I'm gonna zoom you in and we're gonna get started. Okay, so first things first, we are gonna do some eye primer, and I'm just gonna quickly pat it on. I have my face makeup on already, as you can probably tell. So I'm gonna take a blending brush. I have this one here. It's clean. We deal with this every time. It is clean. My brushes are stained. Okay, so we're gonna go in the shade Casket Ready, which is this shade right here. It's kind of like a mixture between a bone color and like a taupey gray. So I'm just gonna brush that all over my lid to set that primer. I'm gonna take it up to my brow because I brought my primer up to my brow. And I'm just gonna buff it anywhere where that primer was. So first things first, I am going to go into the shade Solemnly Swear, which is a Harry Potter reference. And it is this really pretty, like, bluish gray. It has a nice, like, it almost has a, like a periwinkle tone to it, but it is a deeper gray. Ooh. Okay. I'm going to start rocking that in the crease with the same brush. I'm going to bring it out here just a little bit. It's gathering there just a little bit. So I'm really just going to emphasize the shape of my socket, the roundness of it. And then the edges, I'm going to go back into Casket Ready and just kind of blend the edges out a little bit and make it kind of look, well, obviously I'm going to go with a smokier look today with these cool tones. We're just going to blend that out. I'm even going to bring it out this way a little bit. So that's that blend so far. You can see it's sticking a little bit right there, but I do have some psoriasis there, so not the palette's fault. That's just my skin at the moment. But we will see how it goes on the other eye. Okay, so it's a little patchy. I'm blending, and it's not as perfect of a blend as I usually like, but it's not bad. I'm gonna try with my finger, because sometimes my finger can blend it in just a little bit better. It's mainly like right here. Don't know why that's not blending out. It like won't sit right there. Like you see how this one comes down, this one isn't going there. Okay. So next I think I'm going to deepen it up a little bit with Gravedigger, which is this charcoalish kind of gray. And I'm just going to take that with a kind of a blending brush, but a little bit more tapered. Looks like this. And I'm just putting it right on the tip. I'm going to tap it off, and I'm going to start with this eye. I'm just going to start popping it kind of like a V shape. So I'm coming down here and then going into my outer corner of my lid. So just really focusing it there. And then with what's remaining, kind of bring it towards the middle of my crease. Kind of blend it out like a wing, but not too much. I'm going to go back in with this brush, and I'm just going to kind of blend that out. Oh, if you saw me doing this, I was smelling the brush because this palette has a weird smell. I don't know if it's I think it's the cardboard. I don't think it's the shadow. Yeah, I don't think it's the shadow, because I'm smelling this and it doesn't smell like it, but I think it's the actual material of the palette. It smells kind of like spit. I don't know. Sometimes, you know, if they like recycle and use recycled materials for the palette, sometimes they can just have like a little bit of like an industry smell, like a chemical smell. That's just kind of what it smells like. But the eyeshadows themselves don't have a scent. They don't stink. We're looking good. We're looking blended. Now we're gonna go in with something even deeper than that. Yeah, we're going smoky. So we're gonna do Hearse, which is the black in this palette right here. And we are gonna take an even more specific brush. This one seems good. See, it's more of a flat. It's still like a little fluffy, but it's a little bit flat. And we're gonna go in on one side only with that black. Ooh, it's pigmented. Tap it and really sit that in the crease. No fallout, which is great. And we're also we're not gonna put it on the whole lid, but from the lash line and make kind of like a wing shape, like that. Back in with that original blending brush. And just the crease we're gonna blend. We're not gonna blend this line. We're gonna leave that for now. And we're just gonna blend that crease. This is where we're at so far. So there's a lot of shimmers that we can mess around with. We are gonna take a flat brush. I have this brush, it's pretty flat. And I'm gonna go into the shade Mausoleum, which is this shade right here. So it swatches like that. We're gonna dip in, get it nice and covered, and then we're gonna spray it with some setting spray. And I'm going to take this the entire way into that dark corner. I'm gonna try it on my finger wet, actually, because it's pretty, but there's not as much of a pop as I was hoping there would be. See what that does. Yeah, that doesn't give me as much as I wanted, so I'm actually going to go in with that same brush, and we're going to go in with Diamond Ashes, which is this, like, silver glitter. And I'm just going to go with that in the inner corner. I'm not going to take it out very far. Just want it, like, oh, it's not doing anything. Hold on. Didn't do anything. Okay, finger works well with that, so we'll just use my finger. Okay, it's subtle. It's not crazy. But I will take that shade, and while we're messing with it, I'm going to put it under my eye, like right there. No, it doesn't do anything. Okay. So this shade seems like it might work better with the glitter glue because it is a bit chunkier. So I'm going to take some glitter glue. I'm just putting it on the inner corner. And then I'm going to go in with the same shade. I think that might be a shade that I avoid moving forward because I will, well, first off, there's fallout. So it doesn't adhere to the glue nicely. Usually if you let the glitter glue set for a minute and then you put on some pigment, it looks really smooth. And this glitter is just so chunky, it doesn't look flattering. It kind of makes my eyes look really wrinkly and dry. Just looking at how it swatches, it doesn't go on like that on your eye. So I don't know, I'm gonna have to mess around with that shade a bit more. There are two other shades in this palette that are similar formulas to that. So I'm just gonna have to mess around. But I mean, it's pretty for the look, but it's definitely not what I wanted it to be. So next I'm going to take a small brush like this, and we're gonna go into the shade Embalmed, which is a matte gray with a bit of a sheen to it. It's still a matte shade, but one of those matte shades that kind of has a sheen. And we're going to take that and we're just going to put that on my lower lash line. Just in the bottom corner here. And then we're going to go in back with Grave Digger, tap it teeny bit, and then just put that literally on my lash line. Like right on my lashes. Just in this corner. Just to smoke it out a little bit. So then, I'm going to take a nude eyeliner, and I'm going to put this in my waterline. I like using like champagne shades because you can see it gives a difference, but it's not stark. Like it's not like, woo, she has white eyeliner on. You know, this is like a mix between like a champagne and like my skin color. It is very subtle, but it works, and it's one of my favorite tricks when I do darker eyeliner or darker lashes on the bottom. Finally, the last thing that I'd like to do with this look is to take a little angle brush. I'm going to go in with Hearse again, which is this black. I'm going to pick it up on both sides, tap it because it is pigmented, and then with the angle out, I'm just going to do like a smoky liner on my lashes. Now I'm going to take the shade Afterlife, which is this really pretty champagne-y highlight, and I'm going to use that to highlight my eyes. Okay, and then last but not least, mascara. Alright, so I'm going to throw on some gloss and then zoom you out and we'll talk and see what is happening with this palette. Okay, so this is the final look. It's really pretty actually. Despite the mishap with that inner corner shade that, I don't know, I mean, if you use your finger and it doesn't work that great because it's too chunky, and you use a brush and it doesn't work well because it's too chunky, and then you use glitter glue to treat it like a chunky glitter, but it doesn't adhere to the glue very well because of the texture, like the silkiness of it, how are you supposed to apply it? That's my question. So I'm going to mess around with that formula a little bit more. Because of that, I want to do another look for this video. I'll probably, we'll fast forward to tomorrow. Because I want to play with the browner shades in this palette as well. See what other kind of looks that we can come up with. Because there are some cool neutral looks that I think can be accomplished with this palette. I'm going to try another look, but for today, I think that this is a really pretty smoky look. I think I was able to throw this together with what, like 4 shades, 5 shades, which really, for an eyeshadow look, to have this much like dimension and shine and depth and everything, really isn't that bad. I think it turned out really pretty. So with that said, I'm going to jump to tomorrow and we're going to try another look, and then after that look I will give a full first impression of what I think. So we will see if tomorrow with the second look anything changes. Gets worse, better, stays the same. We'll see. So this is the first look. I will see you tomorrow. Bye. Hey, okay, so it is another day and we are going to be doing another look with the Cremated palette. So this time I want to do more of the brown shades, which aren't actually being picked up on the camera. So these shades are way browner than some of the grays, which I think will create a really, really pretty neutral look. Neighbors. So I'm going to start by zooming you in and then putting some eye primer on. First, I'm going to take a pretty fluffy brush and I'm going to go in with the shade Burial Gown, which is this kind of yellow toned bone shade. So we have like a real bone shade right here. So this has a little bit more of like a yellow tinge to it. And I am going to just take that and set my primer. So with this same brush, I'm going to go into the shade Last Respects, which is a taupe that is a little bit gray toned, but still pretty taupey. It still has a warmth to it. And I'm going to go in with that in my crease with the same brush. So I'm having an issue with the shadow. This eye seems to be blending decently. I had really not much of an issue with this eye, but this eye, it just is sticking and it's not blending. And no matter how much I blend, or like I had to use my finger because the brush is not moving it. So for some reason, some of these shades are doing that for me. They get stuck and then, pigment doesn't sit on your skin. I don't know. When matte shades have that issue, for me personally, it's okay because I can make it work, but I'm not happy about it. So next we're going to go in with the Morgue, which is a little bit browner and a little bit deeper. I'm just focusing this right in my eye socket. So when I say brown, I don't mean that these are like brown. You can see they're still gray based, but they have a little bit more warmth to them. Okay, now I'm gonna take Inheritance, which is this shade right here. And I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm just putting it in my socket and deepening that out just a bit. And now I'm just going to blend that down onto my lid because we are going to do a cut crease. So we're going to blend it down to the lid and just the edge a little bit up here just to get it a little diffused. But we're really going to mainly blend it down onto the lid. Okay, so next we are going to take some concealer and we are going to cut the crease. We are going to cut all of that out. So we're going to do a halo eye today, so that is when you do dark on the outside, dark on the inside, and then light in the middle. So what I'm going to do is take the shade Last Look, which is really chunky. So really chunky glitter. And I'm just going to pop it on the outer corner. Okay, wait, no. It has a lot of fallout. I'm going to use a brush and wet it and see if that helps the fallout. Okay, so it's that so far. And then I'm going to take the shade Mausoleum, which is this pretty brown shimmer. And I'm going to take my finger and just pat that on the middle of my lid. And blend it over the edges of that other shade. Actually, that's not doing much for me. So I'm going to go into Afterlife, which is this kind of champagne shade. And I'm just going to lightly tap that over. I'm going to take my original blending brush and I'm going to dip into the Morgue, which is one of the shades we used to blend the crease. And I'm just going to go across where I cut my crease, just to add some extra depth there, to create some definition that we may have lost. I think I'm gonna leave my bottom lash line clean today. So I'm just gonna go straight into some highlight. So I'm gonna take my highlighting brush and I'm gonna go in with Afterlife, which is the shade we put on the middle, and I'm gonna use that to highlight the rest of my eyes. This shade is such a weird one because in person, in the palette, it looks like a champagne, but when you actually put it on, it's like a silver. It's bizarre. I mean, that's not a bad thing. It's just not what I was, it's not what you expect when you see like a champagne shade. Okay, last but not least, lashes, and then I will zoom you out and you can see the whole look. Okay, so as I was filming the outro, my camera died and I had to wait for it to charge. And while I was doing that, I was playing around with some more makeup and I ended up putting a wing and bringing some dark shadow underneath my eye because I just felt like it was missing something. The thing with me is that I don't mind neutral looks that are very simple and basic, but when they're kind of cool toned, I don't know, they feel unfinished without like the full thing, so I don't know. But that's the only thing I've changed. This is the same look, it's just with liner and some lash line color on the bottom. Oh, and I took my red lips off because it felt like it was too much. So my review of this palette, to be honest, is kind of mixed. I feel like it's not as good of a formula as Jeffree Star's previous palettes. I feel like there are some shades that kind of stick and they get patchy or they don't blend as well. I do feel like generally this is a really nice palette. How many palettes are out there where you get like all gray shades? I mean, I think this is a brilliant idea for a palette. I just think that there are some shades that need a little bit more work than other ones. Usually his matte shades are like on point. Some of them in here, like I said, they can kind of stick or don't want to set on the eye. I feel like this palette is kind of one tone. And I don't mean gray, I just mean that there's not much variety in how deep the shades are. A lot of the shades are very similar in that they're kind of in the middle of light and dark. So there's not many like light shades and there's not many dark shades. They're all just kind of basic in the middle. It's hard to create different kinds of looks with this palette because there's not a wide variety of depth. Same with the shimmers. The shimmers are all very even. There's not much middle variety going on. So it's just kind of strange. I like the matte shades. I think the matte shades are really, really pretty. You can do you can create a really nice look with it. However, the shimmer shades, I'm just not into, which is shocking because I'm all about shimmer and glitter and shine. But the formula in this palette is really bizarre. It's like the shimmer shades are very chunky and wet, but they don't perform like a metallic shade and they don't perform like a glitter shade. And they don't actually give you as much shine as you would expect them to. The chunkier glitter shades in here, they're really crumbly and they're just kind of, for me personally, I probably won't use them. If I'm being honest, I'll probably use different shimmers in other palettes because these shimmers just don't perform well in my opinion. So for me, there's about 4 shades in this palette that I could totally kick out and, replace them with different mattes or, straight up satin shades. There are a few shades like Death Certificate, Mortuary, Beautician, Mausoleum, Afterlife, where they are your standard shimmer shade. So they are creamy, but they're your standard shimmer, and those I like, even though in my opinion, again, they don't offer much shine. I feel like you can get a lot of shimmer and shine with other shimmer shades. They don't really do anything magical for me. They're very, very like basic. They look really pretty swatched, but on the eye they just kind of fall flat. They don't offer much shine at all. And for me personally, like, I would rather not do any shimmer than to have a dull shimmer. Really, the star of the show, in my opinion, are the matte shades, which would be fine if the mattes were, like, perfected. They're good. They're not great. I'm happy that I have this palette just because I don't have anything like this. I think that he definitely found a point in the beauty industry that was lacking this kind of palette. And I think that his idea here was genius. Like I said, I'm very, very happy to have this palette, but this is definitely a palette that I think needs something else. I think that this is a palette that you will have to kind of dip into other palettes to use. Personally, I don't mind that. However, there are a lot of people out here as consumers who like to purchase one palette and use only that palette, or only have to use that one palette. This is something that you'll have to grab other shades or other creams or other shimmers. It's not a one palette kind of deal. Upon actually playing with these shades, a lot of them do kind of fall into the same category because they can look different in the pan, but when they're blended or you put them on your eye, things tend to look different, and so they kind of fall into the same category. I was hoping for a little bit more from this palette. I don't hate it or anything like that. I think that this is a fine palette. I just don't think it's up to par with his other palettes. The odd thing is, I feel like before Jeffree Star's Morphe collab, where he came out with his Morphe palette, I feel like he really had his formula down pat, and I feel like every single thing was a success from him. And then ever since that collab, I just feel like the palettes that I've gotten haven't been as fantastic. So I don't know if maybe he started testing out a different formula. If you are looking to purchase this palette, keep that in mind. You know, it's a good palette. It's not the best palette. However, it is kind of the only palette on the market that is like this. If there was another palette on the market like this, I might not recommend this one. But as per my knowledge, like, I don't think that there is another one that kind of hits this kind of market. So you guys let me know what you think. I'm coming to be honest. I'm not coming to kind of lie or sell anything. I just am sharing my personal experience. Let me know what you guys think. Do any of you have this palette? What has your experience been with this palette? What is your general opinion? I'd be really interested to know. I know that this was a longer video than usual, but I really wanted to kind of give some background to my opinion, being able to try it with two different looks, because my last experience with the Conspiracy palette, I did film it and I didn't upload it because I was going back and forth, but it was such a negative experience that I really didn't feel comfortable trying one look and then coming to you and giving you an opinion. Forgive me for the length of this video, but hopefully you don't mind, and if you've made it to the end, thank you very much. So yeah, not horrible, but not the best either. I'd be really interested to see though what kind of gray palettes like this are going to be coming out now that this was launched. Palettes like this kind of tend to scare beauty brands because they think that the general public wouldn't be interested in this. But I think that this is actually a really great idea. So I'm hoping that this kind of triggers some more creativity within the beauty industry, and we see some really cool products coming out that kind of think outside of the box like this. So yes, let me know what you think. I love you all. I hope you're doing great. I will see you in the next video. Bye.